So now, getting a paper to print obviously has changed quite a bit. How would you get a paper to print back in those days?
Well, it was just the two of us. My wife did all the writing, most all the writing, and I did the mechanical work. And it occupied, getting it ready took about 3 days' time.
Is that it?
In that time too, one or the other of us had to be out selling advertising.
Mm-hmm.
And after we had it, we have the type all set and everything ready to go in the usually about Wednesday afternoon. And we'd put it all together and page it and print it.
Mm-hmm.
We had a big press that we printed on. Not like your speed presses today.
Mm-hmm.
Probably print about 1,000 an hour. And 4 pages at a time.
Was it a weekly paper or a daily?
Weekly
it was a weekly paper.
Uh-huh.
Did you have regular stories, columns on what was going on in the community, certain features that you always printed every week, or?
Oh, not particularly, no. Like I say, my wife wrote a column.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it was just stories about weddings and funerals and
Mm-hmm.
what was going on in the town and people. And we used to run little articles about so-and-so visited so-and-so.
And high school sports.
High school sports.
High school sports, of course. High school sports was a big thing. Other than that, it was just locals. It was no interest in anybody but people that lived in the town.
Yeah.
And
Well,
of course, some of them used to make fun of it, but they still read it.
Well, that's
Paid
good.
for it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, admittedly, we newspaper publishers are very spoiled now with the amount of software and technology,
Oh,
and being able to take digital photographs and upload them right into the
a lot
pages.
different now.
A lot different.
Well, remember that big old camera you had, and when you took a picture, what'd you have to do?
Oh, we had to take it to Iowa City and have it developed.
Oh my gosh.
And then you had to have it printed.
And send it someplace and have an engraving made. So it was, we didn't do a lot of pictures because it was,
Big process.
it was too time consuming. You couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Even the daily papers didn't run many. Daily papers didn't run any colored pictures or anything like that like they do today.
What was your process for advertising sales? You were in a small town, people read the paper, but how'd you get people to say yes to an advertisement?
Well, we just call on people, and we had regular advertisers like grocery stores and stuff, banks and stuff, and the banks usually had their own ads. So we'd either make up an ad or they would. And we'd call on everybody every week. And when we were in Seoul in the first little paper, I think it was, I recall, one week we went to Cedar Rapids a day, and next week we went to Iowa City a day to try to sell advertising.
Would you walk into businesses and
Just walk into them. Usually we had ones that we always called on, but every once in a while, if you had time, you'd call on new people to see if they were interested.
Do you think, because there's a lot of talk, a lot of people have said, bigger publications like the big circulation newspapers are suffering, if you will, and there's talk of people wanting to stop printing on paper and have newspapers strictly be online. Do you think that community newspapers have more of a lasting, more of, I guess, a longer lifespan because people still want to read about their community, they still want to have a paper?
I think so. A lot of people do. If I could read, I would still take the papers.
Yeah, I get that a lot. A lot of people say, I've had people encourage me to do an exclusively online newspaper, which is, an up-and-coming idea. And, you know, but I get a lot of people that say, you know, they still really like to have a community newspaper, you know, something tangible that they can hold in their hand and learn about, you know, what's going on in their community. And I think that's very true.
Do you sell newspapers? Do you sell advertising?
We're gonna stop just for a minute and pick this right back up, because that's